And it's that time, perhaps, to
we're actually early.
Talk a little bit about air conditioning and heat. I get distracted. So I personally have been around air conditioning repairs since I was very young. I would say 18, maybe a little earlier. My uncle used to do air conditioning. Maybe a little earlier.
Sorry.
So he used to do air conditioning outside of town, and he would have all these window units that other people threw out. And he would say, hey, see if you can figure out what's going on with this. This is how you do it. And, and I would take apart a window unit, and maybe the fan was stuck, there was something in it, cleaning it, switches not working, and things like that. And then he would say, oh, you got to replace this or that, and then you take it from that one. They had a big assortment of those air conditioners, window units. Some of them were a little bit bigger, but they were crash course. So that would be 1980 or earlier, 1979, maybe 79, 78, somewhere in there. I mean, air conditioners haven't always been around. People lived a long, long time before there was even have any electricity available. In the 40s, they made it more available to the rural. There was a real big push to get electricity out there, but that didn't mean they had air conditioning as soon as they had electricity. Matter of fact, just a light bulb and an outlet was a big deal, and eventually a refrigerator, even larger deal. But there wasn't much in a radio was a big family event. So an air conditioner was something that came along, more and more acceptable in, I would say, late 60s, 70s. And then eventually, more and more people, it became very commonplace. My boys are living outside of Seattle, not in Seattle. There's quite a few people there that don't have air conditioning. And there's quite a few people up north of us that don't have air conditioning in their cars.
The weather's different in Seattle and California.
See, I wouldn't know. I haven't been in Seattle, but I can tell you, you don't have to have it. But since we are becoming more and more dependent on it, maybe we ought to understand what's happening to what's making it more available or less available. So now this kind of goes in hand with the fact that everything is higher, but there's a reason for that. Like housing in the 50s might have been 15,000, not 400,000, which is a median house now. But those houses might have had an electric bill of like $15. So, you didn't worry about insulation in the walls. You didn't have insulation on the floor. You didn't have insulation in the ceiling. You didn't worry about highly efficient refrigerators. You didn't worry about
Jeff Wren and Eva dropped out. The Jeff Wren 757 is here.
Hey, Jeff, glad to have you around. So, these things came along and we just didn't have to worry about electricity. I would suggest that we have been looking at housing prices and the prices of everything that we buy. But what has happened to electric bills? And then along came all these other like toasters and everything that uses electricity, so that we are used to electricity, microwaves. When microwaves first came out, they were so massive and so heavy that when they turned on, even, they dimmed the lights a little bit. And they made great big whirring noise. So, we didn't worry about all the efficiency. At the same time we're getting more and more efficient, the electric bill never, ever stayed steady. It just steadily went up. Is there something to that? I would say yes. Even when we all went to LED, you can't even buy an incandescent bulb or a fluorescent bulb anymore. You can't do it. Okay, so we're more efficient. We are forced into being more efficient. Why is our electric bill still higher? Yes, they're going to come up with all kinds of semi-intelligent reasons, but we're using less electricity. Why is our electric bill higher? We should at least be steady for a few years, but that's not the case. Air conditioners are right along in that. Far, far more efficient than they ever were. But if you start seeing things the way that I've been seeing them, I don't mean to make you see them that way, but check and see. What are they charging now for installing an air conditioner? It's going to be anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000 or even higher for a central heat and air. Does that make any sense? It didn't used to be that way, even 10 years ago. So I suggest that you look into whether or not it's just greed, which we all tend to think that's all these higher prices, that's what they are, is greed. And honestly, there's a lot of that in there. There's something to consider. You, as any individual out there, no qualifications, you can buy a brand new air conditioner, heat and air, 3-ton or whatever size. You can buy it, whatever brand, pretty much. There's some brands that are specific to their installers. They're like, oh, we only sell to these guys because they are qualified to do it. But look and see. I mean, I can pull my phone up and it'll say 3-ton Goodman for 3,300, right? I could literally do that. And you can go to HVAC Direct. There's all kinds. And the further you go in there, the more you realize, hey, I can actually shop even cheaper than that. But did you hear what I said? 3,300. Maybe train be up to $5,000. Okay. And if you're getting somebody to install a train, it ain't being installed for 7,000. Okay. Listen to me. They're trying to make a lot of money now on each one. You can install a central heat and air unit, a replacement, in less than a day with 2 guys. Less than a day. Why are they trying to make so much money? If you can purchase it for less than 3,000 or around 3,300, and say you have to have Freon. Let's say that's Freon's 300, but it's not. You're not using that much cost wise. They can charge whatever they want to because that's what they're doing. Let's say that's another 300, and then there's the labor. In this area, they're charging somewhere the same as they are across the nation, but they're paying their help somewhere around $21 to $25 an hour. You're like, man, that don't make any sense. How can a guy, with any kind of skill like that work that cheap? Well, here's where they make their money. They tell them you will get a bonus somewhere between $500 and $900 if you sell a new unit. When they come out there, they're going, oh, this went out, you need a new unit. They get paid when that unit is sold. They get paid an additional $500 to $900.
Probably more in other areas.
You see what I'm saying? They have motive to find why you need to replace that unit. Now that's how can a company afford that? Now we're at, let's say, $4,000 for the materials and the labor, and they're only getting those. One guy's probably a journeyman, the other guy's a helper. But let's say they're both journeymen. Both of them getting paid $25 an hour. It takes 6 hours, let's say, to put one in. So we're looking at $300 in labor. And so we're at $4,000, $4,400, $4,500. And then they're paying a bonus of $500, let's say. Now we're at $5,000, $5,200. But they start at $7,000 to $10,000, $12,000, I'm hearing. So that one day's work, one team, they're making anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 profit. Does that make any sense to you? A company making somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 profit? It's not right. Okay, it is not right. So I suggest you, and you look into it, go ahead and buy your own unit. Maybe it's not name brand. Maybe they're going to say, well, you can't do it. Yes, you can. You can. You can be delivered to your doorstep if you want. Or you can go get it at FedEx, wherever it is delivered, and bring it to your house, set it in your garage or under a tarp, and then say, hey, I know this air conditioning guy. Do you know some of the air conditioning guy? Go and talk to him and say, hey, I would like you to install this brand new air conditioner that I have. I'll pay you $1,000 to do that. I'll pay you $1,000. Now what are you out? You're at $5,000. Maybe. No, you're not even at $5,000. You just saved yourself thousands of dollars. That's how much greed is going on. You can pay an air conditioning guy and his friend $1,000 for one day's work and save yourself thousands of dollars. Okay, this is outrageous. If you look into it, you'll find out that there are corporations going into suburban areas, larger towns, and they're just buying every legitimate air conditioning company they can, every one of them. And then they tell them all, this is the price you're going to charge for this service. And this is what you're going to do. This is what we tell you what you're going to do. Doesn't matter how long you've been in business, we're telling all of you are going to be the same. So everybody you call, with very few exceptions, are going to have the same price. or something close to it. That is a legitimate thing. I'm not making that up. All you got to do is do a little bit of research. There's plenty of videos out there about it. These companies know that they can take advantage of all the people out there because you don't know how to do it. The only thing you can't do is, in some towns, they won't let you do the electrical work, and you can't buy the Freon to put it in. You don't know how to put it in, but you can watch a video, buy the tools, you could, but you can't buy the Freon. Does this make any sense? Is this right to be charged like that? No, it's not. It's not even close to fair play. It's okay if a company wants to charge an hour for their guy and they're paying him 25 because they got a warehouse, they got a truck, they've got an office manager, got some overhead with the loans for all that stuff. They need to make some money, but do they need to make, instead of that guy working 6 hours and they make 400 or 500, instead of now what they're trying to do now is make 4,000 or 5,000. I just want you guys to think about this. It's not a mystery. It's every bit of this is available to us. It's not just to me. It's available to you if you look at it. So what you might consider doing, if you don't want to do that, you could get into a mini split. You could do a mini split yourself.
What's the difference between a regular air conditioning unit and a mini split?
Well, a mini split only has one outlet. You take the pipe inside and you put it on the ceiling, the wall high, and it has one outlet. Now there are exceptions to that, and you can have 3 outlets. They're called cartridges in the wall. You can, there's a lot of different ways to have mini, but when you start getting beyond the regular, a regular mini split, you start getting into very high expenses. So like you're gonna spend $3,000 on a 2.5, 3 ton with 3 cartridges or 3 outlets in the ceiling.
But with 3 outlets, you could do like 3 different rooms.
Again, now you're having to deal with, 3 different areas.
Okay. I'm asking for myself.
I'm going to say now you're getting into where you have to hire somebody to put the Freon in, vacuum it down, solder the lines. This is not something that I'm just saying that you can do yourself.
Okay, with the single mini split, does that focus on just one room then?
Yes. In a rich man's house, they call it zone air conditioning. It takes care of that area. So you have return air built into it. It pulls it back and it recycles. It's a heat pump, so it also has some heat. It's not really efficient after it drops below 25 or so. It's not very efficient, but it's something you can do. You can buy these things. If you shop around, you can get it for $400 or $500. I'm not joking. You can, but let's say you just go down to the store and pay $1,000. It's certainly more efficient than any window unit you get at Walmart or any other place, because at Walmart it says on the window unit possibility of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. The window unit will be 10. Absolutely bad efficiency. So there's no trying to be efficient in these window units that are being sold in these stores. So you can still use a window unit and not have to be a slave to these guys that are selling air conditioning systems. One of the things that is happening is and it has been for a long time, people just go ahead and do self-contained units. That means the box, every box in that big old box on the outside is ductwork that comes into the house, okay? So they can just replace the whole thing. They don't have to have copper lines run inside. They don't have to have Freon run. It's already pre-charged, okay? You just got to hook up the electricity to it, hook up the ductwork to it. That's a self-contained unit. Now, it's not as efficient. But when we start talking about $5,000 or $6,000 on the purchase price, you're going to have to lose a lot of money to make that more efficient unit that somebody else installed and charge you that much. You're going to have to lose a lot of money in efficiency to make up for that. And you can do it yourself. So it's time to start looking at ways to maintain your own air. So like you would start cleaning your air conditioner on the condenser on the outside and cleaning your A-coil on the inside. And there are plenty of videos out there on how to do that. You can buy the coil cleaner from Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere else. You can get it in an aerosol can. It goes in there, foams and pushes out. And then the key would be, not dropping down into your electrical down below. Making sure your drains also is another thing that you need to do. Your A-coil on the inside has a pan on the bottom of it. You need to clean that regular, blow it out with some kind of heavy-duty air pressure to push it out. Now you can also pour a little bit of bleach in there and it keeps that goo from building up. So you can do that. You can clean your own air conditioner on the outside too. Now that coil pulls in from the side. So if you're mowing grass and your air conditioner is running, it sucks that grass right up, sucks in the dirt, all those things, it sucks into it. You have to turn the power off on that air conditioning unit, spray from the inside out, push it out. Or you can use that spray foam and let it foam and get out. It doesn't do as good a job as you would think, but it is sometimes all you got. So there's high pressure wands that you can buy that are like $20 that you can put on them, that you can stick down in there, but you don't want to do that with electricity on. Another thing that you can do is just keep an eye on all the simple things like thermostat wires not being chewed on by squirrels or dogs, because dogs chew on thermostat wires just because there's something to chew on. You want to make sure there's some kind of shielding if you think that's going to happen. But, that'd be why you'd have to call somebody. And there's so many other things that you can actually do that you could fix your own if you have any kind of wherewithal. But have you ever considered that there are actually now mini splits or air conditioners that are solar powered? They're already made to be solar powered. They're out there. Look into that. Now you're knocking out the air conditioning company and the electric company. And we've got to do something about these guys. It's getting outrageous what they're doing. Some of these counties are literally charging you just because they have offered the service. If you're not there, not using electricity, they still charge you a minimum charge. I have a gas company is doing it at one of the places that I rent it's called You Name It Collectibles. They charge, even when we're not using the gas, $60 a month, and we're not using a drop of gas. It's utterly ridiculous, That stuff's been paid for years and years ago. There's not coming out there and checking it out either. They're not coming in there to check it out. So we've got to learn how to get independent of all the electric companies and the air conditioning companies. Everybody that's trying to be greedy. We've got to learn to take care of things more and more ourselves. We've got to start looking after ourselves, because there's a lot of companies out there that are about taking advantage of us. You see, what I'm really want you to look in. Don't take my word for it. Look into it. You're going to see more and more of these kind of things going on. Plumbers charging whatever they want to charge, and that's another rant. When you have an air conditioning guy show up, you don't know how much that capacitor costs. Some capacitors can get up to $30. There'll be one with a whole bunch of prongs all the way around it. Kind of complex. Might be $30. But you know what? A lot of them are $7, $8, $10, and they're charging you $100 because you don't know. They're not going to show you the receipt for what they paid for it. I do, because I got a conscience. I got to live with me. I got to sleep with me. I don't mark up materials. You still have to pay me to go get the materials, but I don't mark them up. Why are we allowing these people to have no conscience? We have to, I guess as a village, we're going to have to teach these people, these companies, that you cannot treat people the way you are. You're mistreating people. It's wrong. What about these poor older people who had a fixed budget and then their air conditioner goes down and say, well, you're going to have to come up with an extra $12,000. Hopefully you got good credit and you can afford the payment. They're actually got a lot of these companies now are carrying financing. I wonder how they're doing that. You put $3,000 down, $4,000 down. And by the way, when you buy any volume, you get discounts on those things. Big time discounts. You buy any volume at all. When it comes to mini splits, I'm hearing companies charging $6,000 to install one. Okay, it doesn't even cost them $600 to buy. Okay, most of them come pre-charged. Think about the nerve of that. I heard a guy showed me on his phone of an estimate for a mini split that was installed. They want almost $2,000, $1,890 something to fix a leak. And they say, well, you have to change the lines. Okay, to even change the lines, $1,800. It doesn't. You could buy a new one and install it and have $1,000 left over. We have, because of lack of knowledge on the homeowner's part, you're not understanding how much you're being taken advantage of. The mystery of air conditioning, the mystery of electricity and plumbing, all those things. These guys in the trades, and I'm one of them, can take advantage of you because you don't know any better. And they don't have a company that are working for, don't have a conscience. Maybe they don't have a conscience because they're going to tell you your air conditioner needs to be replaced, and maybe it could have been fixed for.
Well, and they save time too. It's not only money; they don't have to troubleshoot it.
Yeah, well, the one company that guy showed me said that for them to even look at it and put a charge to it would cost $400. That's not putting Freon to it. They put nitrogen to it. Okay. Nitrogen doesn't cost anything. They're going to charge $400 to do that. It's not even, it wouldn't take 20 minutes to do that. They're going to charge $400. The amount of money these guys are making, it's just not It's sinful. And I just wanted to say something about air conditioning for that matter. And yeah, there are things called swamp, very popular in dry areas, where they literally run water on the sides and the wind blows that cooler air from the water into the house.
It's like
They're
a
still
big
using
drop.
it in high rises. It's part of the heating and cooling of high rise buildings. They're on top of those buildings, those big water coolers. That's not an unusual thing. Now it has some electricity involved. It has the pump to pump the water, and it has the fan, but it's not got any Freon. Now we don't have to deal with an air conditioning guy, do we? We just got to have somebody that knows how to do a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electric. So I think there's a point where we need to start looking around and thinking about other ways to deal with than just turning it over to that trustworthy technician and who's not trustworthy anymore. Might be a trustworthy guy, but he ain't working for a trustworthy company. So I want you to be aware of what's going on when it comes to air conditioning. One of the things happens too is mobile homes, are totally misrepresented. They're not horribly. They're just marginally more. Sometimes they're cheaper than a regular central heat and air system. It's just a downdraft system with like maybe a UL rating for for mobile homes. It's not a big deal. Okay, they have induction fans just like every other. It's the same thing. Okay, so there's a lot of things I can do to go beyond what I'm talking about right now. I just want to talk about the state of air conditioning. It's in my lifetime, which now I'm 64. In my lifetime, I've seen these guys go from a modest living, or a good living, to just outrageously rich. Okay, they're just, if they own their own company, they're rich. It's not right.
Well, the new money is going to be tradespeople.
You guys, there's not enough people in trade, just not. And because of that shortage, you can be taken advantage of. You got no choice. So I'm trying to point to different directions, like the swamp box, like the mini split, like a solar powered, maybe buying your own air conditioner and having a technician put it in. Then you know exactly how much they're charging you. The Freon is not that much. You can look at the Freon. You can look at the prices for Freon, by the way. You can look at those prices. You just can't buy it because you don't have an EPA number. So you have all of the prices exposed to you. It really doesn't take much research to find out how much the technician's getting paid. So in the middle of all that little bit of math that you're doing, you find out how much that company is making. And it's just outrageous. They're going to have a small company might have 5 teams, and they're making anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a day per team. We're talking about anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 a day profit, guys. This is not legitimate business. This is taking advantage. So please be careful. Please be aware that you have other choices. And I'm just wanting to give you that because I can't take care of everybody. I just want you to have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Take a look at it. Don't take my word for it. Just go look. All this stuff is available to you. Get educated to it. Find the guy who's honest. Maybe there's one out there. There is, but I don't know who they are. When people ask me,
we're not going to recommend.
When people ask me, who do you recommend? I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody I would recommend because there is just not anybody that I would send your way and then feel like I should be tied to them. I recommended that? No, I'm not going to do it. They can blow me up. I don't care because I know, if they wanted to get on live with me, I would talk with them. I know how much insurance costs. It ain't that much. It's not much at all. For millions of dollars worth of insurance, it doesn't cost. One service call would pay for it all for millions of dollars worth of insurance. It's just wrong. Okay, so I want you to look at it. That's the thought I wanted to leave with you today. Look at the costs, find out what they are, find yourself a good air conditioning guy before you have to, or maybe just look at these alternatives. All right, I'm gonna let you go. See you later.
Hey, join us on Thursday night at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Thursday night, 10 o'clock, like she said. I'm not so much for promoting myself, but
yeah, he forgets.
If you got questions, you can bring them to it. It doesn't have to be with what I'm talking about. I don't mind stopping in the middle of it. So if you have questions, save them up for Thursday night. We'll see you. I'm also on YouTube on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So questions you can ask at any time, and I'll be as honest as I can. I just don't have a good enough memory to lie. See you guys.